top, you'll always be.
Just look around. You got the mountains. You got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
I know everybody thinks it's cliche, but, you know, I truly believe in my heart, you know, that we all are blessed just to have the opportunity to be at the University of Tennessee. You know, we've had some guys in the past that always felt like Tennessee was blessed to have us, you know, and that's not the case, you know. So these guys, I think they're believing in what we're doing, how we're doing things, that they understand it's bigger than us as individuals. It's bigger than me as Coach G, it's bigger than Coach Banks, it's bigger than Coach Eck, you know, it's bigger than any one of them. You know, it begins with the T and ends with the T.
Mean! Woo! My God! Gene!
Do you remember when we fell in love? I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. I can feel it in hands. I can feel it in each other. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, no. We fell in love. You remember the time. How could I ever forget? You remember the time. Oh, no. We fell in love. You remember the time. How could I ever forget? Coming in the air tonight. We fell in love. You remember coming in the air tonight. Our first time, we our best time. It turned into nighttime. I'm sipping on a fine wine, shining like the skyline. Wish I could rewind time and replay it in my mind. Replay it in my mind. Oh, oh. They'll never know this love and how it feels. I never thought love at first sight could feel so real. You brought emotions out I couldn't feel.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. He's Coach Jay. Coach, man, nothing says Monday like a little crutin'. Little crutin' on a Monday evening, Monday afternoon, early afternoon.
Love me some crutin'. Feeling good, feeling good. A little sore over the weekend. Learned that I'm a little too old to demonstrate certain drills, but you know, we are all subject to defeat by old Father Time. But definitely feeling pumped up this morning. Feeling good about our odds this morning, and excited about the possibilities with Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, I'm fired up. You guys in the chat, the man of the hour, 4-star wide receiver on 3, top 100 player in the country, Radarious Jackson. He's an in-state priority. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit, but he's going to make a decision between Auburn, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. We're going to take you all the way up to that decision coming at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We will cover that right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Like Coach said, man, I'm feeling pretty confident too. We can walk through why. Maybe we'll do that in just a little bit as well. We're going to take a look at some plays from the film. Coach Jay's going to break those down. Man, we're back in the saddle. Film breakdowns are back. We had a good one that just dropped this past weekend. If you missed it, go back and give it a watch. Shady Hayward loves violence. He loves to hit people, and that's what we watched a whole lot of on that film breakdown. But let's catch up with you guys. Put it in the chat right now. How you feeling? Are you confident? Is Tennessee about to land 4-star wide receiver Radarious Jackson? Also, smash the thumbs up. That's easy, and it helps the channel. You want to take it a step further, hit that share button. Blast this thing all over social media. Let them know this is the place to be. Do you want to watch this commitment by yourself, sitting in your living room, watching some analyst talk, or do you want to hang out with a bunch of diehard, psychotic Tennessee fans and celebrate this commitment together? Let's run down the chat, see who's hanging out. Robert Holt is here, dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Jeff Olson doing the same thing. Dan Porter also dropping custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Shout out to the members of the channel. You guys can get those emojis by hitting the join button over there by subscribe. We would appreciate that. Tyler is here, says, is he in the 25 class? Yes, class of 2025. We're going to go through his entire profile, scouting report, all that stuff. Z-Flex is here. What's up, my friend? Says, locked him in yet? Yeah, not officially, but yeah, he's a ball. Go ahead and buckle up. Parker Maxwell is here. Let's see. We got Ricky D for 2. Just a door fee, a tip in the tip jar. Shout out, Ricky. We appreciate that. Lil Spooky does the same thing. $2 door fee. Let's get it. GBO. Shout out Lil Spooky. Dylan, been a member for 18 months. Appreciate that, brother. That's a lot of support. Dave Morrison for 10. Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you. The members keep the lights on around here, so we are grateful. Rizzy for 5. Just another day being Kentucky's father. Go Big Orange. I mean, it's appropriate. I feel like we should just do it. I feel like it sets the mood.
Mark Stoops is 2-9 against this team, and to walk around this place before the game, I was disgusted. The smugness of those guys just walking around like, we're going to walk in here, we're going to kick your ass, and you can't do anything about it. And it made me sick. And you know what? They did it. They still did it. What the hell? Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, their stupid...
I just made a huge mistake, Coach Jay. A huge mistake. I got excited because he said we're Kentucky's daddy, and I just got the entire stream demonetized.
Oh, no.
Right out of the gate, we made a mistake. We've made a huge mistake, but that's all right because we're still going to have a good time.
No.
And we're going to talk a little recruiting. We're talking to wide receiver, but before we kind of jump into Radarious Jackson, are you kind of surprised as we sit here, what, a week? Are we 2 weeks out after the transfer portal opened and not Elijah Herring is it? And you know, I really truly believed wide receiver, somebody, whether it's a Nathan Laycock, Nate Spillman, Caleb Weber, Chaz Nimrod, maybe, you know, one of the other. JD Pickell, you know, when he went down for spring practice, got to see the whole practice. He said Tennessee has 4 wide receivers that could start just about anywhere in the country. They're loaded at that position. Are you kind of surprised about that?
I am a little surprised. I think I said on here that I thought we'd get like Nate Spillman, maybe, or maybe Caleb Webb, but I didn't think Nimrod. But then Caleb Webb, he looked so good in spring, and he put, you know, weight on the frame, got bigger, faster. That room is deep and talented, and you have to wonder, has Josh Heupel sat down with these kids and say, hey, look, for the first time ever, we feel comfortable with enough of you that we can let everyone sit down at the table and get a bite to eat a piece of the pie. Is that the reason? You have to think it is on those initial exit interviews. I believe the coaches here, being part of our culture, to be extremely honest with our players, are. And you have to wonder if that conversation happened.
I mean, Coach Rice, super chat. I know Coach Rice wanted to be here. Drops a $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Coach said, rad as a ball. Hate I can't make it. Lunch duty for the win. Will be an explosive playmaker on the outside for the ball. Shout out, Coach Rice. Appreciate that, brother. Man, that dude wants to go live.
I got a tip of the cap for him today.
Yeah.
I put together the scouting report as you asked, and I only took what Coach Rice, I went back to our live breakdown versus video, and I went down and stole the whole scouting report from Coach Rice. So Coach Rice, I got you today. The scouting report will be in your words. Or...
Why do work when you can just steal it? I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, I just take what I hear from everybody else and just regurgitate it, and then I pretend that it's my own because I'm a wannabe reporter. That's what I've heard. But let's talk about Radarious Jackson, 6'2", 180 out of Memphis, Tennessee, 4-star wide receiver. You man, do you think On3 is better than two? I mean, have they passed 247 Sports by at this point?
I think it's close, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that they have. It's tight, but I think they just offer just a little bit more. I think that their staffs are just a little bit deeper. Let's put it that way. It's like the top guys are the top guys, but when you get into they're 2 deep, they're 3 deep. I think they're a little bit deeper. Yeah, that's just kind of my thought process on it. And I guess Rivals and ESPN are duking it out for third place either way.
I saw a thread.
I think Rivals still though for third over ESPN. ESPN.
Oh yeah. I saw a thread over at VolQuest where they were talking about the rankings and how it varies so much. Because the reason I brought that up is he's 80th overall at On3, way further down at 247 Sports, ESPN, Rivals. I mean, a 3-star at 247 Sports. And they were saying that Shannon Terry was debating dropping ESPN completely from the On3 industry rankings, which would be interesting. Anyway, that was a side conversation when we're talking about Radarious Jackson, 2023 Class 3A Mr. Football for the state of Tennessee, 1,800 total yards offense, ran it for 782 yards and 9 touchdowns, had 30 receptions for almost 700 yards and 13 touchdowns. Also threw the football a little bit, 340 yards, 7 touchdowns. Defensively, 63 tackles, 8 interceptions. I kind of liked hearing that from a guy that we're recruiting as wide receiver. Had 2 pick sixes and a punt return for a touchdown. Let's go ahead. Let's just walk through your scouting report. We'll just do that now. When you watch tape, got everything ready for today, what do you think of Jackson as a player?
Personally, or my scouting report I stole from Coach Rice?
Whatever you want to do. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Let's just give him Coach Rice's real quick first. And a lot of this is I agreed with Coach Rice, so it's par on with what I think. But a good size. 6'2", 290, with a frame that can easily add weight without losing speed. A sub 4.4 guy, instant impact player in space. Also has ability to make you miss in a phone booth. Elite awareness and physicality. Hard to bring down on initial contact. He's quick out of his breaks and cuts. He gets low out of his breaks. He translate to a higher level of football in the SEC. He played the 7-on-7 ball with GMAC also, I believe. So that's something to be really excited about. Personally, one of the things that I really like that wasn't in there is just his move, his hesitation out of his break and cut is also really elite. So I'll add that little tidbit of information in there. But really a great scouting report from Coach Rice during our live series. Coach Rice putting in work there, no doubt about it.
Recruitment-wise, he took unofficials this spring. He saw Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss. Only has one official scheduled, though, Coach. That's to the University of Tennessee on June the 21st. Is that a spoiler alert? I don't know. He was pretty high on Tennessee coming out of that visit back earlier in April. And, it's one of those things, and we're going to have this conversation in just a second, but I'll just kind of lead us into it. One of those things where Tennessee's wide receiver board is so deep, and you're looking at the in-state kids. You're looking at Radarious Jackson. You're looking at Cam Sparks, and you're saying, boys, you better get in. You better get in while you fit in because you're about to get left behind. And, then it quickly started to change. AP said that Radarious Jackson is closer to a decision than we originally thought. And then I think it was the next day or two after that, Steve Wiltfong drops the Fong bomb, predicted to Tennessee. That's a spoiler alert. When AP's telling me, all right, and me by us, not me. It's not like he picked up the phone and said, hey, Boogie, anyway. It's like he's getting ready to make a decision. Then here comes Wiltfong. That's a spoiler alert. And then AP has gone ahead and rolled out the 50-cent gift. Radarious Jackson is about to become a Vol. There's no question about it, is there, Coach?
It doesn't seem to be. It would be almost a troll job at this point, right? If he wasn't a Vol. So it looks like he's all Vol. I'm going to say he's all Vol. An in-state kid we were talking about in the room before. It is important it's super important to get those in-state kids. Now maybe we could even segue into this a little bit. It is not everything. Like, you don't have to recruit all the in-state kids, right? There's nothing that says that, but I do always believe you have to get your pick of the litters in state, right? You want to get your George McIntyre, your Utleys, you want to cherry pick the people out of the class that you want that fit for you. And look at this. Look at all the orange tees that Boogie's showing you right now, right? Notice there isn't one there. And we broke down Terry on Grant's film, and they did end up offering them, but it was late, and we're a little suspicious if there isn't some extenuating circumstances for Terry and Grant. So you need in-state, you need to recruit in-state, but you also need to be measured when you do so and make sure it's fitting you and what you're trying to do and accomplish.
Yeah, what I've got up on the screen is the top talent in the state of Tennessee. And when you look at those numbers, like you said, you got to get the elite guys. The guys, you're not just going to take a guy because he's an in-state kid. But when you look at the top, they got commitments from 2 of the top 6 with Utley and George McIntyre. They're about to pick up a third. So you're 50% on the top 6. 3 out of 6 are going to be in the boat here in about 28 minutes. And then you go further down the list and you look at a guy like Cam Sparks. You look at a guy like Jalen Morgan. And I think Tennessee is in a very good spot with Jalen Morgan. Cam Sparks, I'm not so sure about, and that's kind of the conversation that I wanted to have with you, Coach, as we're talking about in-state kids. You roll down here to Cameron Sparks here, ranked, where is he in the state? 3rd best player in the state. Of course, the On3 recruiting prediction machine has Tennessee way out front, and they may be. I don't know. But when you look at the wide receiver board, and you've already got Joakim Dotson in the boat, you're about to add Radarious Jackson in the boat. So now you've got 2. How many are you looking to take? I mean, maybe 4 in the class of 25. You're in a good spot with Jamie French. He just took to Twitter in the last 24 hours and said Tennessee is one of the top 5 teams recruiting him the hardest. That's a legitimate big boy battle. Tennessee has a shot. If you don't believe it, I don't know what to tell you. Does he end up at Tennessee? I don't know, but they're in it. Caleb Cunningham, another 5-star. And then you look at the deep talent at the 4-star ranking. Derek Meadows, Thomas Blackshear, Travis Smith, Marcus Harris, and then you add the 2 in-state kids, Cameron Sparks and Radarious Jackson. Just your thoughts on the wide receivers position specifically when you're talking in-state versus out-of-state.
It all boils down to trusting your evaluations. And look, there's going to be some sticky situations out there. There is going to be, and it might not be this class, it might be next class. But there is going to be an in-state kid that's highly ranked at some point that get processed out, right, because of talent. That 100% will happen under Heupel. Their offenses are too good for it not to happen. There's going to be a high 4-star at some point that gets processed out because there's a high out-of-state 5-star that wants to be there. So you kind of got to get in where you fit in immediately if you're a wide receiver. And furthermore, you better bring your damn lunchbox, right, when you show up at campus, because as you see with our wide receiver room this year, you better be ready, and you better be ready to compete, because it is going to be a no holds barred death match all the way. We didn't have it. We cross your fingers. We don't have any wide receivers that have transferred out yet, and they all look like they've taken a step. So I fully expect an all-out war when they get back. So when these young recruits do make a decision, understand if you're going to come to Tennessee, you better be elite, you better bring it, and you better be ready to compete.
You look across the board, the guys that we've talked to that are Tennessee targets, whether that's Shady Hayward, whether that's Jalen Matthews, even Jamal for that matter, they want to compete. They want to play against the best of the best. And then you look at the culture that Heupel's created, and that goes back to, nobody entering the portal. I think that speaks volumes about the culture that Josh Heupel has created. Hey, I understand that I may not be wide receiver number 1 or wide receiver number 2, but I know if I work hard enough, if I do what Jalen Hyatt did before me, I know that I'm going to have an opportunity to play, and I'm willing to stick it out because I trust Coach Pope, I trust Coach Heupel, I trust Coach Halsley, and I'm going to wait my turn, and I'm going to treat this like it's 2012 college football instead of 2024 college football. It kind of bothers me when I see people on social media, wherever, and they're like, oh, everybody just transfers. Oh, it's all about NIL. And, even Nick Saban's crying about it. But guess what? Josh Heupel's found a way to balance NIL and team chemistry and culture and family. He's figured it out, man. I'm telling you, we got a special one. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat. You guys dropping some super chats, which we greatly appreciate. Dylan Elam for 5 from the 901 to the 865. Excited to see a young man from my backyard getting his moment. We're getting a stud, boys. And again, I always pat Coach Jay on the back when he's on an evaluation early. Coach Rice, he could have picked anybody in the state of Tennessee.
Thank you.
Anybody. And he went and got Radarious Jackson. He said, boys, this guy is a stud. He is going to go up. And then we had Matt Ray on the show. It was right around the same time. And Matt Ray said his recruitment, stock up for Radarious Jackson. Memphis Ball for 2 says, reel them in, boys. We're going to take you all the way up to the decision. Supposed to be going live at 2 p.m. Eastern time, so we're about 23 minutes away from that. Black Metal Banjo for 5 says, would love him in our program. But if we don't get him, it's the next guy up. I believe there's no stopping the trajectory of this program. GBFO drops those orange emojis. Shout out Black Metal Banjo. Timothy McGee, been a member for 7 months. We appreciate that, Timothy. Thank you for the support for 7 months. You guys want to be a part of the family, hit that join button. It's right beside subscribe. You can do it for $1. You're wondering why everybody has a Power T beside their name? That's because they love the University of Tennessee. You can do the same for just $1, and we would greatly appreciate it. For the fans, by the fans, also fan-funded. This show doesn't exist without you guys, so shout out to all the members of the channel. Brad drops a 20 spot. That is an orange boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top! You'll always be.
Brad says GBO feeling orange today. So am I. Nelson was making fun of me, saying glad Boogie's finally wearing some orange for a change. I felt attacked. When Jalen Matthews was on the show, and he said, I love the fan base because everybody's in orange. And I'm like, oh, no. I met him with a ETSU hoodie on. So we're going to rev some orange. You guys have been complaining. It took a 6'8", 300-pound monster to change my mind. Coach Rice for 2 says Coach Pope will win Recruiting Coach of the Year. Coach Jay, what do you do with Coach Pope? Because you're not going to promote him to offensive coordinator. He's proven to have success as a coach, as a teacher, as a developer of talent, but also on the recruiting trail. What do you do? Just pay him?
Pray and pay, right? Just pray he doesn't go and pay him. That's about all you can do, man. The guy's doing a bang up job. We will not keep him forever. There is no way. We just want to keep him as long as we can and make sure that you have a succession plan for him, that we're bringing up another coach in his camp. Oh, and Austin Roller in the chat asked if there's a player comparison for him. I accidentally left that out of Coach Rice's breakdown scouting report. He compared him to Robert Meacham, and I think it's an adequate comparison.
What is he right now? He's 6'2", 180. I wonder if that's okay. They got him 6'2", 185 at 247. And 247 just put out a scouting report today, conveniently of all days. So 6'2", 185 would probably be I wonder how much weight he can put on, because they're looking for that Brew McCoy body, like a guy like Travis Smith is 6'3", 200. Cameron Sparks 6'3", 210. I think I've seen them compare Cam Sparks to Brew McCoy. This would be more your opposite side. Agree?
Yeah, I agree, and I think 206 is about what you're shooting for with them.
Okay.
About right there. Yeah, I'll take 206.
Foul Ming in the chat. Shout out Culberson. Most epic name ever. I think I don't remember if he ripped it off or other people ripped it off. But he gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. We appreciate that, Culberson. Tyler Gresham's the one that picked that up. Now he's throwing custom Talkin VAWLS in the chat, emojis in the chat. We appreciate that. Timothy McGee for 5 says, should be. We are family and together until the transfer portal open it. F the team. LOL. Mm-hmm. Only one kid so far. Elijah Herring, the only one into the transfer portal. Louisiana Vol has been a member for 12 months. We appreciate that support, my friend. We got about 1,000 people people watching live across all the platforms, but help us out. Share the link, put it on Twitter, put it on Facebook. Just hit that little share button right over there. It's right there on YouTube. You hit that, you can put it to your Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Let's grow this chat. We are about 20 minutes away from the decision. We're going to take you all the way up to it. 4-star wide receiver Radarious Jackson out of Memphis, Tennessee is going to make his decision between Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, or Tennessee. But we're feeling all orange today. Let's go ahead and let's jump into a little film breakdown. If you guys aren't familiar, if it's your first time ever on the Talkin VAWLS network, we're glad to have you as part of the family. We're not pretending to be anything. We're not here. We're not reporters. We're not media. We don't break news. We're diehard, psychotic Tennessee fans. We talk Tennessee football all day, every single day. Now, Coach Jay happens to coach a little football out in California. We have a series on this channel called The Breakdown, Film Breakdown with Coach Jay. We go typically Tennessee commits, Tennessee targets. We've done some transfer portal guys. There's a playlist on the channel. You can go check out all that. We're going to give you a little teaser of that. We're going to look at some plays, a couple of plays here from Radarious Jackson. Coach 152, what do we got?
Yeah, we got single back, single wing, twins to the bottom of the screen. It's a 3-3-5 defense with a cover 2 zone fire blitz concept coming out of them. As we see here, Rad's going to be the X wide receiver at the top of your screen that is circled. I didn't want to do any of the plays that Coach Rice did during our live breakdown, but do yourself a favor, go to the playlist. After we get this commit in the boat, go to the live list and go check out the Morgan versus Radarious Jackson playlist and go watch Coach Rice's plays, because hot dang, he does a good job with that, and you get to see some awesome plays that I wanted to leave where they were. But right here, we're just going to get, a simple seam concept out of him. But I wanted you to see how he can skip out of his breaks really quick. He can get low when it's time to get low, and we can go ahead and take a look at that. Boogie, why don't you pause it when he gets to about the 11-yard line there? We can kind of talk about what we get going on. Here comes that zone fire blitz. Okay, so even money, a little bit past the back already. You see how he got a nice open stride. He's going to be working against double coverage here. This ball is thrown in a hurry because the quarterback is under duress. So an adjustment needs made, right? He's not going to just go on a straight line and seam. He almost needs to stem it inside or bend it towards a post. He's going to high point this ball, back shoulder catch. He's got a ton of Moss catches on this film. Coach Rice has, I think, 2 beautiful ones in his breakdown series. But the adjustment of this ball, it's not an outside break like Matthews did in the spring game. It's an inside break, but the ability to change directions on a dime and make it almost look like it was a design change of direction is a special ability. Rad's able to do that here. Boogie, if you want to take us through that, pause at about the 157 mark, right about at that high point of that catch. And watch this kid get up. Look at that adjustment. We'll watch it in full speed. Oh, ooh.
I'm getting pretty good. I'm getting pretty good, Coach.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say, man,
the catch is impressive.
The catch is okay. The pause, that's elite, man. There's a Heisman Trophy for that. Shoot. Yeah, and look at that cornerback. He just looks dejected. It's almost like he already knows that it was 6 the moment Rad got by him a little bit. But that high point, he just mosses everybody. Elite speed. We can watch him pull it down and then play it again. And when we play it again and watch it in full speed, watch how fast he breaks at the adjustment when he hits the 11-yard line. It's 11-yard line and zoop. Go ahead.
I'll run it back, but talking about him high pointing the ball, that's something in the 247 Sports scouting report that came out today. Said he's got a basketball background and he's got great ability to win at the catch point and outside the numbers. Says he flashes outstanding leaping ability and strong hands. So that's what we're seeing. It's evident here.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those kids where you can just throw a fade and throw it up. Look at the speed change on the adjustment, though. He makes that look easy. That's absolutely beautiful. I like the lag step out of the break. I had to watch that play a couple times, and he lag steps it, like drags his back step after he takes his first step. so that there is a change of speed. Great little tidbit here. I want to put this play in here because it's a short film, as Coach Rice will tell you. And a lot of these plays are defense, so the other plays are Coach Rice's. But I want to give you this punt return. The zip here, the flyer, the gunner, whatever you want to call him, the zip fly gunner, is going to come barreling down on him really, really fast on this punt return. And what he's going to do is take a break step to the outside, to the bottom of the screen. And when he catches that gunner at the last second, he actually cuts inside on that break step. It happens about the 336 mark, but if you can catch it, watch this gunner fly in and watch this outside break step to the L1 button. Yeah, he's about to. Beautiful, right? Yeah. Okay. Now he's going to break out. Whoop. Now he goes whoop. He's so elite in a phone book. It's ridiculous. And as you saw there, I think 3 players had the angle on him on that punt return, and they didn't even have a chance. It was kind of embarrassing. You can watch it in full speed again if you want. But yeah, that man, that hezzy, and that's that hezzy step. And you use that hezzy step all the time out of your breaks, guys. There's infinite moves or switch ups you can do as a receiver. There's a push hezzy, there's a drag hezzy, there's a hezzy cross, there's hezzy to fade. There's a bunch of different variations you can do out of your breaks as a wide receiver. Maybe like 15 or 20 different hezzy breaks you can do. He has got them all the hezzy breaks in his arsenal. I think I'm with Coach Rice. I mean, I think this kid could be special. And as mentioned, I mean, you take into account the votes, the votes in the after vote. Coach Rice might have niched me out there in that first breakdown, but the belt is going to remain here after the second one, regardless. Sorry, Coach. Sorry, Coach.
I feel like we buried 247
And Tom,
Sports.
TikTok, baby. TikTok.
Are you overlooking
TikTok, Tom?
You overlooking your opponent
TikTok,
coming
Tom.
up on Wednesday night?
Oh,
Wednesday night,
no.
7 p.m.
Tom.
Eastern time. It is on. Rocky Top Tom is going to have a shot at the Talkin VAWLS Film Breakdown World Championship. I feel like we buried 247 Sports out of the gate, and then here I looked at their scouting report before we went live, and you're making a case for their scouting report because outside of the high point, they also talked about his surprising quickness, said he's got good let's see, where'd it go? Let me find it here. Talked about his speed, good quickness, but it also called him a long strider. And watch these strides down this.
Yeah.
Like, watch how long his strides are compared to everybody else. And it's just the speed. He's got speed, man. He's got athleticism. I'm excited. I'm excited. We are about 12 minutes away from the decision. Coming up, Radarious Jackson, 4-star wide receiver out of Memphis, Tennessee. Tennessee is trending. Are we going to get him in the boat? How you guys feeling in the chat? We're up to almost 1,200 people watching across all the platforms. YouTube is the home. Come hang out with us on YouTube. That's where we want you to be. But we are streaming on Facebook, also on Twitter, and somewhere else. What Twitch? I don't even have access to the Twitch account. Coach Jace muted. You're muted.
I don't know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch.
We're on Twitch. We're on Twitch. No views ever. No views ever on Twitch. YouTube is the home of the Talkin VAWLS Network. Michael Hope for 2 says you can rock that ETSU hoodie boogie. I'm going to make a commitment because I'm sick and tired of Nelson crying every time I wear something that's not orange. But speaking of orange, Timothy McGee drops an orange boy. That ain't cheap. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Timothy for $20. We appreciate that. That's a very generous super chat. Says question about the transfer portal. Are they leaving because they've been told they were a stud and then go to a college and find they aren't and just want to stay and don't like not being a depth player? I think, man, I don't think you can just put a blanket over it all. I think everything depends. There are players that are asked to leave, and there are players that are leaving for playing time or an opportunity. There are players leaving for NIL deals only. They are 100% entering the portal knowing they're going to go somewhere else and get more money. But I don't think you can just put a blanket statement on the transfer portal as a whole.
No, I think it's case-by-case basis. Are players asked to leave? I absolutely think so. Could it be suggested at time? I think Herring's a really interesting case, right? Because he's a kid who would have saw the field and he would have got playing time. But I think an honest conversation was had. Hey, look, you're not going to be the starter, right? You're not going to be the one. And he's already gotten a taste of that. He's already been a starter for a lot of the year. He's shown that he can be a starter in the SEC. Did he have things he needed to work on? Did he have problems against the pass? Yeah. Could he have corrected them? Yes. Could he play in a lot of other schools as a starter, Big 10, Big 12? Uh, sure, absolutely he can be. Is there money waiting for him at a Colorado, at a University of Southern California? Absolutely. So for coaches to be honest with him and say that, I think it's awesome because it'd be really easy to go, hey, Herring, man, you're close. You're close to figuring it out. Let's really hone in that game. You could make it as a starter, but you've got to put your foot to the ground. It's gonna be a competition to, hey man, like you have an awesome game. You could start for us, but right now you're the number two and or number three, let's say. And it's going to be a little bit of a chore. These guys got a little bit of a step on you. Not saying you can't do it, but it's a chore. We'd love to have you here as a depth piece, but if you need to go, we understand that too, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, we are about 8 minutes away from the stream starting. I'm sure they'll have some things to say before they make that commitment. We're going to take you all the way up to the commitment. We're here to hang out as a community, right? Let's watch this thing together, even though sometimes we can't stream it on the actual Talkin VAWLS network because of copyright reasons. But if we can't, would you rather watch it together or would you rather sit on the couch by yourself and watch it? So we appreciate you guys hanging out with the Talkin VAWLS network, like-minded people, diehard Tennessee fans. We want to talk Tennessee football all day, every day of the year. That's what we do right here on this channel. Let's kind of change gears for just a second. Let's switch over and let's just talk about this class of 2025 right now because we're 8 minutes away. We got some time to fill. We'll talk a little recruiting. Why not? We've talked a lot about the wide receiver position. Once Radarious Jackson makes it official, if he does choose Tennessee, we got 2 wide receivers in the boat. Right now, Tennessee's sitting at 14th, according to the On3 industry rankings. Is that good enough? No, it's not. But guess what? We got a long way to go. Recruiting's really going to pick up over the next couple of months. Kids have taken their spring visits. They're locking in officials for June. A lot of decisions going to be coming throughout the summer. We got Jalen Matthews set to make a decision in June. We got a defensive lineman, Charles House, set to make a decision in June. I may have a little birdie in my ear. We got another decision coming in August. Stay tuned for that. But it's going to be a fun few months to follow recruiting. But Coach, when you look at this class, what are your thoughts of just the body right now, right? This is the foundation for this class of 25, and obviously you got your guy. You got George in the boat, and when we talk about officials, there's going to be a lot of peer recruiting going on with George. It's already happening. But what do you think of the foundation of this class of 25 that we've got right now?
I like it a lot. It's a little bit of a converse from the year before when it was defensive heavy. You could tell they've gotten back to the offensive side of the ball, which I like. It's going to be centric on offensive linemen, quarterbacks, and wide receivers, which of course we love. But I like the class a lot. It's what Heupel does best is offense. And look, you can certainly see it here. George McIntyre, 5-star, absolute stud. I'm very high on Jack Van Doorslayer. Go check out that breakdown on him. Extremely high on Jack Van Doorslayer. I think their evaluations have been good for the most part, or really there's no kid I hate, so I should say it's just solid all the way through. There's a couple kids who probably need a year or two in the program, but that's normal. Of course, you're going to sprinkle in those defensive players. You always need 1 to 2 defensive linemen. The Vols are always going to need cornerbacks, but I do expect it to see mostly offensive heavy and for it to continue along that path. I think we need to take as many as 6 offensive linemen. How you feeling about O-line, Boogie? How many you think we take?
You look at adding Lance Hurd, right, in the transfer portal was huge because he's got so much eligibility left. But when you look at that offensive line, of course, can you get David Sanders? I think they're in a really good spot for Jalen Matthews. And then, Petty kind of coming out of the woodwork intrigues me of being able to get three elite guys. But you just got to land your fair share. And right now, I'm obviously more familiar with the higher rated prospects like your David Sanders, who, I really, and what do I know, right? It's just a gut feeling. It's a fan. You read all the articles. You're trying to make sense of what a high school kid is saying in an interview and see if it means anything. I think Tennessee is probably leading for David Sanders, and people can say I'm crazy and that he's going to Clemson and all that nonsense. I feel like Tennessee is leading for David Sanders. I feel like they're leading for Jalen Matthews, and I think they're starting to work their way back in with Josh Petty. That's 2 5-star offensive tackles, and they want Josh Petty to play guard, according to what AP and Hubs have been saying. So if you get Jalen Matthews, you get David Sanders, and then you land Josh Petty and slide him into guard, talk about a loaded offensive line unit. And then, don't forget the class of 24, right? I mean, you landed Bennett Warren, William Satterwhite, Max Anderson. Everybody's so high on Gage Ginther. And then you add this class of 25. That's how we build depth, right? And we're seeing it in the wide receiver room. We're seeing it on the defensive line. We're seeing it at the quarterback position. We got to continue to do it at other certain areas, offensive line being one of them. I think you're seeing it at the linebacker position. I think we got some depth there. It's the secondary, and it's the offensive line, and I think this class of 25, I didn't even mention Dontrell Glover, another 4-star that could play inside or outside. Juan Gaston, another 4-star that could play inside or outside. Man, I think this is going to be another offensive line heavy class, and that excites me because we got the quarterbacks in the skill position.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we can finally see a light to the end of the tunnel with depth, right? I know someone a couple weeks ago made the comment, why are we always searching for depth on offensive line? Why is this every single year that I've been a Tennessee fan for the last whatever amount of years you have been, or at least since the fall of the Vols? Go check out the series if you haven't, but shameless plug for you there, Boogie. But there's finally a light to that end of the tunnel, right? We can finally see a spot where it's not like, oh, well, yeah, we're going to have the offensive line coming in, but Nico will be gone by then. Or, yeah, we've got these wide receivers now and we'll have the DBs, but then that group will cycle out and we're not really rich then. We can finally see, the Connect 4 checkers starting to line up on the board and filling up all those slots. And that to me is extremely exciting because Tennessee, for all these years that we've had all this bad coaching, we've had talent. It's not that we haven't had talent. We've had talent, but we haven't had the talent and the depth in enough spades to win. And it's gotten trickier with the transfer portal. It's gotten trickier with NIL, but this blueprint that Heupel has put together doing this is really, really solid. I actually think he might be doing. No, I'm just going to say he is. He is doing it right now better than any coach out there, in my humble opinion.
You talk about you got to close the gap, right, to the Georgias and the Alabamas. And I think that's why this year is so important, because when Josh Heupel was hired, and by the way, I know you guys are waiting. We're right around the corner from the commitment from Radarious Jackson, 4-star wide receiver. He's scheduled to go live at 2 o'clock. We're going to show you what we can or what we can't. We're going to watch it together, but I don't know that I can share it on the screen. I'm waiting to see if he goes live anywhere else, but we will let you guys know. We will let you know the second the decision comes in. But you talk about closing the gap to the elite prospects, and I think a big part of it is in previous years, especially under Heupel, right, comes in, bottom of the barrel. We're at rock bottom. NCAA investigation looming. That gives him a free pass to me for those first couple of cycles. That's now in the past. Now you've got your guy in Nico. You've got an opportunity. You've closed the talent gap. Your over-unders at 9.5. I think you got to go win 10 games, and you got to put this class of 2025 on top of 24 and then continue to show success on the field. And then winning fixes everything, man. Winning cures all, and I think that's why 2024 is so important. Let me hit this member chat from Rocky Top Tom. Been a member for 16 months. Says member chat's rule. Coach Jay, you're going down on Wednesday. Just go ahead and mail that belt to me, bro. I would take 6 offensive linemen all day. Offensive linemen are like shotgun shells in duck season. Can't ever have enough.
What was that?
Don't shine that belt up. Don't get too comfortable. Rocky Top Tom says, and I think too when you talk about closing the gap, closing the talent gap, is there's been so many years where we're in on a 5-star. We're leading for the 5-star, but the fallback guy is a 3-star. Now you look at the offensive line, and we're rattling off guys like David Sanders. We're talking about Petty. We're talking about Jalen Matthews. We're talking about Juan Gatt. We're talking about all these elite top 300 players. That was my thing about last cycle with the offensive line. 3 of those 4 offensive linemen were top 300 guys. That's how you close the talent gap. We got 715 people watching live right now. We're still about 3.5 minutes away from getting a decision, so we will keep you guys in the loop on that. Let me do some shills and plugs while we wait. You're not going to miss anything. Don't you guys worry. I've got it pulled up ready to go. You can go check out the Talkin VAWLS merch. If your friend Nelson is yelling at you about wearing an ETSU hoodie, you can pick up Talkin VAWLS merch at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate any and all support. If you've got merch, man, post it on Twitter. Tag me at Boogie Bentley. I love to see you guys repping that merch. FUGA. I don't know what that stands for, but we sell it. Gator Hater, Buck Fama, a clean TriStar shirt, whatever you want. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Let's there's Brian Staley in the chat. Brian, I almost DM'd you, but I was about to go live. You know something I don't know? Do you know a little secret, Mr. Staley, about a certain player you tagged me in? If you got some inside scoop, hit me up. I may have a video ready for tomorrow, but it's good to see Brian in the chat as always. Let's see. We're still a couple of minutes away from Radarious Jackson, 4-star wide receiver, the man of the hour. If you could pick, Coach Jay, let's pull up Radarious Jackson's profile. Let's talk about the young man a little bit. We've already gone through his scouting report. We've watched a little bit of film. We've talked about his recruitment. We've talked about why we feel like he's about to become a Tennessee Volunteer. Let's say you get Radarious Jackson in the boat. You've got Joakim Dotson already committed. And by the way, people that like to say 3-star Georgia was pushing hard for Joakim Dotson, and he said, no, thanks, but no thanks. I'm all vol. I'm locked down. No more visits. I'm going to Tennessee. So that's 2 wide receivers in the boat. Let's say you're taking 4. Who are your others that you like? Maybe. Of course, it's easy to say. Give me Jamie French and Caleb Cunningham for $500, Alex. Who do you think Tennessee maybe has the best shot out of all those guys that they're targeting?
I would say French and Sparks probably would be my 2 likelies that they pull in. Of course, you take Cunningham too. If that happens, if French and Cunningham were to commit, is Cam Sparks a take? Maybe you push for 5 at that point, but I don't know. I don't. How do you feel about that, Boogie?
Especially,
you think you would take him?
It's such a hard conversation because, again, we talk about the in-state kids. How much priority do you put on an in-state kid? To me, if you've got Jamie French. Oh, you're playing a numbers game. I was going to say, if you've got Jamie French committed, and then you land one of these other 4-stars, whether it's Marcus Harris, Travis Smith, Derek Meadows, whoever, and then Cam Sparks says, I want in, I think you got to have that conversation with him now. And I think Josh Heupel, again, this is why he gets paid millions of dollars, because he has to make these decisions. And especially when you're looking at limited numbers. And I don't have the scholarship numbers in front of me right now to know exactly where they're at, but they're operating on a restriction right now because of all the NCAA stuff. So, and I know there's ways around that, right? With NIL, we saw those kids transfer in right after all that stuff. Oh, I'm a walk-on. No. You don't start or play at Nebraska and come to Tennessee as a walk-on. Still no commitment yet. Customs by Matt. We're right around the corner from it. We will keep you guys up to date, let you guys know when that decision comes through. We are keeping an eye on it, but he was supposed to go live at 2. They went live a little bit later, but we are hanging out with almost 1,000 of our closest friends as we count down to this commitment. Man, help us out. Yeah, Dan Porter says it. Help us out. Smash the thumbs up. It helps the community. We would appreciate it. Maybe one of these days, Coach Jay, what would you think if we got an exclusive live commitment on Talkin VAWLS? How sick would that be?
Oh, dude, it would be extremely sick. It'd be tempting to drop that insider's title off of our thing if that happened, but I think we stick with it, man, because as you said, Boogie, this channel has always been for the fans, by the fans, and about the fans. And I know that will never change no matter how many coaches you get on this channel. I've said it before on this channel. I come here as a Tennessee fan who grew up a Tennessee fan first and foremost. That's why I'm here. So no matter how many kids you get, Never mind however many, Austin Prices or Ben McKees or whoever you get on here. This channel will always be ran by the fans that are in this chat, and we love all you and support all you. So it's just awesome to have that kind of community where a young man would feel comfortable announcing one of the biggest decisions of his life on the Talkin VAWLS channel. Um, I think humble would be the word for me. I'd feel very humble if they would want to do that.
I think that's why people dig the channel, because it is a fan's perspective. That's what they love. We're right around the corner from that decision. It's going to get awkward right now. Unfortunately, we can't share the live stream because it's not on his Instagram. It's not on Twitter. So we're just waiting on that decision because we can't get a copyright strike. Saying who he's thankful for, who he's grateful for. The decision is about in. He's going through each team. Let's hit this super chat from Wesley Williams real quick. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Says, hey, guys, which SEC team do you guys dislike the most? For me, it's a tie between Missouri and Florida. Well, I'll answer first. I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that, no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none.
Yeah, an awesome video. And yeah, I hate Georgia too. For me, it's probably Florida, like a lot of other Tennessee fans that grew up in the era that we came up with, Boogie. For me, it's probably Florida. Missouri is super annoying right now, right? Because of Drinka, who's a witch, or whoever. But that cat is just super annoying. He's kind of
we got a decision. We got a decision. Boom! Go Big Orange. It is now official. Radarious Jackson will be attending the University of Tennessee. Jamie Roberts for the $20 super chat. That's an Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Jamie says, here's a Jackson. Let's get smothered one. They just asked him if he had talked to Heupel. He said he's not talked to Josh Heupel yet. I would say a Twitter GBO is about to roll out. Radarious Jackson is in the boat. Coach, what do you think?
I think we got ourselves one heck of a player. I think we have ourselves a true X wide receiver who can do all these things that we broke down. An elite playmaker, the kind of player who could go step out in a game and go score 4 touchdowns in a game, have a big, huge breakout game. He's elite, man. He's got size, he's got speed, he's got all the tools in the toolbox, and an amazing playmaker who I believe will prove Coach Rice here down the road, and one that will be happy we got. Wearing the old number 3 there, he certainly does remind you of a Robert Meacham, a kid that I think will be special on Rocky Top. So we got an awesome playmaker, and welcome home. Rad, we're looking forward to you.
You know, the thing we didn't even talk about was the George McIntyre impact. I mean, he plays 7-on-7 with George McIntyre for Tennessee Select. That was a big thing, man. When George committed, you started hearing all these kids that are on that 7-on-7 team. David Sanders obviously takes notice, took all those trips together. Jalen Matthews takes trips together. Obviously, you love some Nico. Do you think there's any difference there? I think Nico made it cool to come to Tennessee. You know, all the photo shoots, dark mode, all that stuff. I think Nico made it cool to be at Tennessee again. Absolutely. But do you think George maybe has a little bit more leverage because he is in the South and with those relationships with the South, you know, the kids and in-state kids, but also kids from North Carolina, Georgia, all around the area?
100% I do. He's just going to have a bigger footprint in that area, right? The passing leagues out here, the 7-on-7, you do get national ones where these kids meet each other, but a lot of them are localized or regionalized, I should say, where, you know, it'll be mostly teams west of the Mississippi for Nico, with a few exceptions. And a good way to put it, that Nico made it cool again. I think in hindsight, when it's all said and done, with everything I believe Nico will accomplish, that we truly will have that kind of, you know, Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence type pass off between the two. And that's awesome. You can build a lot off elite quarterback playmaking like that. So I think Nico struck the match, and George will definitely keep the flame burning.
And that's right. That's I know I talked about this before when George committed the post. Whoever it was on VolQuest that said the window of opportunity just went from 2 years to 4 years because you've got another elite quarterback, and there's one in the class of 26 too. Faison Brandon, Tennessee, in a very good spot there, building that relationship. And I get it, man. I love me some Jake Merklinger and his competitive edge. And if he beats out George, great. You know what? That means he's better than George, and he'll have an opportunity to do that. But man, we're seeing elite talent, right? We're seeing it's like seeing Spillman out there at the spring game, and I remember talking to Nelson. I'm like, that's what an SEC player looks like. And Nelson goes, Boogie, he's been here 2 weeks, and I said exactly. We don't have to make him look like an SEC player. He's walking in the door from Jump Street looking like an SEC football player. So the future is bright, man, whether it's that wide receiver room that is flooded with talent, whether it's the quarterback room, that defensive line that I'm doubling down with Tim Banks, best defensive line in the country. It's an exciting time. Dave Morrison for 2 says this isn't a YouTube channel. This is a family. That is right, man, and we appreciate you, Dave. Thank you for the kind words. Coach Rice for 5 says T. Malone said if we get Sparks, list him as a Cam Seldon hybrid. I think we can take 5 wide receivers in that situation. If that's an option, do you turn one away? And I mean, Radarious Jackson, he's pretty good at defense too, but I don't know, man. It's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. It's a great problem to have. Maybe I got to go back and watch Cam's film a little more. To decide on that hybrid position at running back. Quite possibly, though.
Just a reminder, moving forward the rest of the week, tomorrow night is Tuesday night, and you know what that means. We'll be playing some NCAA football right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. If you've never been a part of that, come hang out. Come check it out. Maybe you'll like it. It's laid back. We talk football, but where that family statement comes from, that's a Tuesday night because we'll talk about anything, man. It's always a good time. Laid back stream on Tuesday nights. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Coach Jay versus Rocky Top Tom. The Talkin VAWLS Network Film Breakdown World Championship will be defended on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Coach Jay's got to pick a defensive line target. Rocky Top Tom's got to pick an offensive line target. That's going to go down on Wednesday night. Papa J for 10, just as long as he doesn't go to FUGA. That's Papa J, always on the same wavelength as me. Moving ahead, we got more film breakdowns coming your way. We got a Jalen Matthews film breakdown dropping next week. We'll continue to keep you guys up to date on recruiting. Any commitments, any live streams, we'll be letting you know via all platforms of social media. Those links are in the description below. As always, on the way out the door, man, shout out to you members. I know I say it all the time, and I hope it doesn't fall on deaf ears. I would not be doing this without you guys. I would be working for the man. I would be right here on a desk typing away, working for the man, but instead I got the opportunity to jump on here with Coach Jay and talk some recruiting and watch Radarious Jackson, one of the top in-state priority targets, commit to the Vols. That's because of you members of the channel. So thank you. Appreciate the support. You want to be a part of that, hit that join button. It's $1 a month. We would greatly appreciate it. But if not, everybody's welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network family. He's Coach Jay. My name's Boogie Bentley.